Alright, as you can see, my base is already prepped here, so I'm going to go straight in with my oil-based paint, and I'm going to put it on my pan and mix it with an oil-based cream foundation, just so I could get it opaque. Also dropping in some face primer oil to thin it out. And before I dip my sponge in there, I want to make sure it's very thin onto the pan, just so it applies evenly. So I could tell you from this point, I'm not liking the color. It needs to be more opaque. It's a little bit too green for me. I wanted to do something a little bit more like pretty, and yeah, you'll see me like fixing it right here. I'm applying foundation right over it. And also applying that green mixture on my neck. I was so hesitant to do my ear, but we did it. Like, there we go. So this is like face paint I got from a zombie palette, so I'm using that red and that sort of grayish blue. That's supposed to be for like bruising, and like blood for the red. So I went in and mixed that and applied it under my eyes. Also applying that blue-gray under my cheekbones, make it a little more hollow. Now I'm just really gluing down my brows, especially the edges, because I will be lifting that high. You probably just saw me do it against the hair growth, and I'm letting it dry, and now I'm just doing it the regular way, just to make sure it's really glued down. Putting over that light colored foundation again, I'm just making that green more opaque because it's a little too green still. And again, I'm using my special setting powder. This is for oil-based paint. This will help keep it look smooth and in place. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about gluing down the brows, so we're going to go over it one more time. Now with that same light cream foundation color we've been using, I'm just going right over my brows. And this is the moment I realize I messed up. So I wiped that right off because we still need brows there, and I only did the outer corners. Then after that we will be drawing on the outer edges. Here I'm using a black eyeshadow, and I'm still measuring for the tail of my eyebrow, which will be in the same place, just very high. Just very lightly fluffing up and filling in my brow. So here I'm setting powder where my eyebrow actually is, and that should really seal it. Now I'm taking my setting powder and applying heavily under my eyes and all the high points on my face. And applying just a cool pale pink shadow under my eyes. Going back in with my oil-based face paint, I'm using the white, and I'm using this as like a regular concealer, just hitting the high points, really getting under my eyes, and just brightening areas that need to be highlighted. Now with the same setting powder we've been using pretty heavily, I'm going to set all the high points that I just did and make sure to bake it in for a bit. Now after baking, I'm just going to brush off all the excess powder, especially under my eyes, but very gently. Now the contour is really important with all these dead looks because the skin is very pale and looks very flat, so we want to make sure we look snatched. And I'm just going in with like a cool gray just to really snatch the face. So we're going to carve out just the first half of the inner eyelid. This always reminds me of the Marilyn Monroe eye. But instead of her classic taupey color, we're going to use a cool gray just to smoke out the edge of the eye. So all these pale skin looks, there's nothing crazy going on with the eyeshadow. I'm just really focusing on like depth, so contouring is really a plus. Now I'm double checking to make sure that we are extending the eyeshadow out. This just gives an illusion of a longer eyelid. And I'm using a business card just because it's a little bit more flexible, and I'm using a gel liner just to get my edges of my cat eye crisp. And with the same gel eyeliner, I'm just using the residual, whatever is left on it, and to the mid of my brow and the tail, I'm filling it in. going in pretty heavy with mascara, and I'm also going to do my bottom lash. And on my brow bone, I'm using that white oil-based paint just to highlight. And with a black kohl pencil, just filling in the gaps between my eyelashes. And I wanted a more brighter color, so I'm just mixing those two colors and reapplying under my eyes. And just filling in my entire lower lash line with that gel eyeliner. And white liner to my waterline. Usually I like to start off with the base color and then work onto that to create depth, but I really just wanted a really cool matte deep color. So going straight to the lip liner, that's something a little bit deeper than the lip color. So choosing this rosy plum color because it goes really well with the color under my eye. To make a really nice pop of color and a really great blend, I'm applying that color right under my eye and of course nose. Now going into more contouring, I'm going to put in a deep bronze color on my cheekbone. Now we're going to create the openings of the stitching. So I'm just drawing on the lines first and then I will go back in and fill it in. Now I don't want to make it look too perfect, so I'm making some areas look uneven. Now taking some black eyeshadow and creating some shadows. Now to make it look more realistic, I'm creating highlights and I'm putting it like right on the very edge of the black opening. Now I'm just creating shadows for where the holes will be. Now I'm going to create the actual holes, and I'm just really just patting in right where the shadow is, like right in the middle. Now I'm just doing the stitching. You could do it however you want. I just went off a pattern and then kind of just went off the pattern at the end. Now I'm putting in my mixing liquid and then my chrome powder just to make that chrome effect. And we're just really going to go over right over the stitching, but make sure it's not going over the dark color. And of course we're setting with my favorite setting spray ever.
He's alive! Alive! Oh, who is she? The Bride of Frankenstein.